So we start with our calves. Remember I said at the beginning we need a strap or a belt or some kind of a loop. So you're going to find a way to loop your strap or belt around your calf muscle. And this calf stretch is designed specifically for people with knee injury, knee replacement, knee issue. So just looping it around the ball of the foot, which is the top third, so not the toes and not the middle, but somewhere in between. And let's just hold that. We're going to pull, keeping everything relaxed for 30 seconds. Breathing in. Try not to slouch. Try to pull the shoulders back. Nice. And 10 more seconds here. Focusing on the breath. Because we're stretching, but we're also preparing for that meditation now. So let's change feet. So you're actually bringing your shoulder blades together yet again. And if you can, try not to help. With those toes. So let your arms do the work of the pulling. Good. And let's move on to a hamstring stretch next. So again, we use the loop. You can have the loop again around the ball of the foot, or if you find it more comfortable, you can have it around your ankle. So just take up the slack as you need, right, to be able to pull and stretch the back of the leg. Most of you will find it more comfortable to have this other leg bent, foot flat on the floor. But if you're quite flexible, perhaps you even want to stretch the leg long. Now, if you do have the strap around your ball of your foot, you're going to find that you're also going to get a calf stretch with that. So you choose. So just gently pulling. You want to have a straight knee. So if your leg is back here, in order to keep that knee straight, that's fine. Breathing and relaxing your shoulders. And let's change sides. So you decide, and your two sides will always be different. We never are the same flexibility on the two sides of the body. So you bend, leg straight, around the ankle, around the ball of the foot, up to you. So I noticed I was bending my knee a little bit, so I just want to focus on keeping that knee straight. If I can't come as far towards my face and chest, that's okay. Breathe deeply into the low belly. Not so much the chest, not so much the shoulders. And good. On to our next stretch. So now we're going to stretch the quadricep muscle and the hip flexors. So you might want to come this way. And if you cannot reach back for that, this one's a little trickier to get into. If you can't reach back and grab your ankle or your foot, this is again where you want to use the strap. So I just bring the strap over my shoulder, using as much slack in the strap as I need to. And it's very important in this stretch to keep your belly and your hips pushed into the floor. You don't want to allow your bum to come up and stress to be on the low back, and then you're not stretching the quad as much. So you really want to press the lower abdomen in front of your hips hard into the ground. Just relax. I've got a microphone in my way, but you won't have anything in front of your face. You'll be able to relax your forehead maybe on the back of your one hand and just pull with that strap. as you exhale, perhaps you can deepen the stretch and pull a little more. For 3, 2, 1. And let's change sides. On the other side, just for ease, instead of using the strap, I'm just going to reach back. I'm able to do that and keep my knee tucked in. My knee doesn't flare out to the side. So if you can do that, you don't need the strap, and press your hips into the floor. Breathing. After about 20 seconds, you'll find that your muscles will soften and you can deepen the stretch just a little bit more for the last 10. And release. Wonderful. From here, we're going to flip onto our back and we're going to stretch out the spine muscles and the hip muscles and the upper back muscles. So we're going to stack the knees together and take them over to the side. Okay, if you're able to, see how I'm making a 90-degree bend here. Okay, if that's possible. If not, you might need to come up with your knees, you might need to go down with your knees. Who knows, you might even need to straighten that bottom leg and just rest a foot on top of the leg and have that knee pulling over. So you find what works best for you, but it's good if you can have knee on knee and 90-degree bend. So then we need to take the backs of our shoulders and try our best to get them on the floor. In this position, let's bring the elbows into a 90-degree bend. You'll feel an even deeper stretch all through the front of the shoulder. And see if you can slide those arms up, keeping the elbow as close as you can to the floor. Okay, so now we're going to come and do it on the other side. So just going to move my pack here. So coming into a 90-degree bend on this side. Again, we want to try to get up using the backs of the shoulders to get the backs of the shoulders into the floor. You might find that this opposite shoulder is hovering. Try to breathe into the low back and let it expand out and release and relax as well. So even if the back of your shoulder, like mine, is hovering, let's take it up overhead, trying to keep the arm as close to the floor as possible, and then slide it back down to 90. And once more up, and slide it back down to 90. Breathing in, breathing out, letting the back of the shoulder get even closer. You can use this shoulder to get the other one down. Good. One knee at a time. Let's come back up to center. And prepare for the next stretch. So the next stretch will be a chest stretch in the tabletop position. So just finding hands under shoulders and knees under hips. Tuck your toes. We're going to come down to the ground on one forearm, and then we're going to take it out to the side, and then we're going to use the other hand to support us as we press the shoulder in the front of the shoulder here on this bent arm. We're going to push the front of the shoulder in towards the floor and look away from that arm. If you want, you can come in and out of the stretch. One more. And let's change sides. So find a position where, so you won't know, everyone will be different. So find that position where you take the arm out and you feel a stretch that comes into the armpit and perhaps the front of the shoulder. And then we're gonna push the front of that shoulder into the floor, looking away. You can either hold, or you can go in and out of the stretch by coming up and down. Breathing in and out. Good. And release. Just a few more stretches, 4 more. We've got shoulders, front of the shoulders and the back. So let's start. We're seated, we're leaning back, and fingertips point away. And the further you walk those hands out and open the chest, the bigger the stretch. So don't hurt yourself. Just go to that edge where you feel a good stretch, but it doesn't hurt. But it just feels like, that's a good pull. And I can tell that I'm going to feel better after that. And just hold. Good. Wonderful. Shake it out if you need to. And then let's stretch the back of the shoulder. So just find a comfortable seated position. For me, it's legs straight. For you, it might be bent knees or cross-legged. And we're gonna keep the arm nice and low, not too high. And we're just gonna pull across the body. If this stretch is really challenging for you, feel free to bend the elbow a little bit. Breathing and sitting tall. Let's do the other side. This is always feels like a reward when you take the time to stretch your body and you know that you're going to recover so much faster from your workout and feel more like coming back to it again. And it really does slow the mind down. Tricep stretches next. Since we're here, we're going to reach up, and since we worked those triceps pretty well today, let's get up on those sitting bones if your legs are long, even if your knees are bent, and let's reach down the back as far as you can. You might be way up here, but if you can, if you've got the flexibility, push that elbow up and back and reach as far as possible. Do the other side. Always one side's different than the other. Breathing in. Taking your time. And stretching it out. Good. Just a couple more. So we're going to stretch the inner thigh next and stretch out the side of the body as well. So if this is uncomfortable for you, and it may be, feel free to either sit in butterfly pose, outer edges of the feet together. Maybe you're out here. You could also have one foot tucked in, other one open, or you could also have your knees slightly bent or bent quite a bit. The goal here is really to stretch the inner thighs and the side of the body. We'll do the low back next. So find a place comfortably to set that arm. I like to set it on the floor in front of the leg. And we're going to take a reach with a straight top arm instead of bending that elbow. And then we're going to rotate the rib cage up to the ceiling. And then we're gonna lean over, but I don't want you to lift this hip if possible. Try to keep this hip pushing into the floor. That might mean that you look like this, and that's perfect. That's great. That's right where you are. That's where the stretch is. Breathing in. And let's try the other side. Again, you could have one leg bent. You could be in this butterfly position. You could have your knees bent. So you choose what's right for you. And find that arm position, straight arm. And we pull up before we lean, and we push that opposite hip. Push it into the ground. Don't let it come up off the ground. And I'll just let you breathe here. Finding that smile one more time. Coming out. And our last stretch of the day will be a low back stretch. So we're going to do a traditional forward fold in the seated position. Feel free to have lots and lots of bend in the knees. We're going to stay here for a bit so that we can really loosen up that back. It takes a while to loosen up your low back. So if you start here, you just want to be relaxed. Okay, so we don't want shoulders up around the ears. If your shoulders are up here, it means you're trying to push too far into the stretch before you're ready. So just relax those elbows. Okay, bend the knees as much as you need. If you can only grab your ankles, your shins, if that's what's accessible, there you go. That's where you're going to be. And you're just going to rock side to side. Try not to fall over. If you do, it's okay. Have a little giggle and then get back up again. And just rock side to side. So you're breathing into your low back, letting it expand out. And then perhaps over time, now I'm skipping a few steps because I'm looser there, but you may find that you can start to lower those kneecaps a little bit. Keep rocking. And then take a big breath in. Let yourself exhale and fall. Sink down, melt down. Rocking side to side. Perhaps you're walking your bottom back just a millimeter on each side. I'm going to hang on to my toes because I can still keep my elbows relaxed and my shoulders away from my ears. Take a breath in, stop your rocking. Exhale and let your upper body fall heavy. Pull your belly button in, okay, because of the stress on your back. So pull your belly button in as you roll up through the spine, one vertebra at a time.